Testing 1, 2, 3. Is anybody out there? Hello? Can anybody see me now? Probably not. I'm not on at my usual scheduled time, and so I am kind of doing things a little backwards. But anyhow, this is going to get recorded, so we'll put it up on our website. This episode of Grandpa's Farm, our live stream, brought to you by TFO Fly Rods. Now, TFO is not actually an official sponsor of Grandpa's Farm Go Sailing or a Carl Brook channel, but they've been really cool to me and have turned me on to some rods and equipment, and so trying to repay a little bit of my debt to TFO for their love and support. So TFO Fly Rods gets a shout out from us today. So with that said, here I am live. Nobody in the chat. That's very odd. Makes me wonder, did I make this public? Yes, our setting is public. Huh. All right, well, I guess nobody wants to talk to old Grandpa today, so I guess I'll just go ahead and go on and do the channel anyway. So anyhow, kids, while people are trying to find their way in here, I'll just sort of jump into it. And I don't blame people. You know, our channel has been so wishy-washy lately. I've been jumping back from one idea to another so often. I can understand why a lot of people are somewhat frustrated with what's going on and not paying much attention. So nobody shows up. Well, that's fine. They could watch this later on in the rerun. So, well, hey, Rhonda. I see Rhonda's here. Cheshire Canary, how you doing? Yep, nobody else showing up, Rhonda. I decided to do an impromptu live stream, and I didn't give anybody advance warnings, and I'm not doing it on a normal schedule. I just decided, what the hell, I'm going to go ahead and do a live stream. So I had some things I wanted to discuss with some people, and so I thought this was as good a time as any. Lily, get down. I thought this was as good a time as any to go ahead and put this out there. So, oh, she just stole a dog bone. You dirty dog. Hey, Palm Limit, how are you? Welcome. Glad to see somebody showed up. Hey, Mark Gotham, how you doing? Welcome. Now everybody's rolling in. I was beginning to think I was going to do this live stream all by myself, which is fine. I'm accustomed to talking to myself. You know, living up in Alaska as long as I did by myself, I got kind of accustomed to it. So, hey, Austin, how you doing, buddy? Glad to see you here. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about fishing today. I happen to have the really great pleasure of taking my son Vincent, and Vincent and I went up here to the fishing show here in Columbus, Ohio, and I saw my buddies over at TFO Fly Rods were there, and I thought it would be just a lot of fun to go ahead and talk about TFO Fly Rods. So, there we go. How's that? Now you can see who I am. Hello, everybody. How you doing? So, yeah, like I was saying, I went up there to the fishing show, and I ran into my buddies at TFO and decided to give them a shout-out. When we did our Travelers in Paradise television show years ago on television on Versus Network, TFO turned me on to a couple fly rods, specifically these two fly rods. This is a TFO Axiom 10 weight and an 8 weight, an 8 and a 10 weight. Get them here in front of the camera. And these rods were awesome. I did really well with them. I had a lot of fun with them. And TFO was good enough to, you know, give us these rods in way of sponsorship. And, you know, I never felt that they really got a good enough bang for their buck. So I wanted to include them as a sponsor in today's live stream. So thank you, TFO live streams. Not only do I have an 8 and a 10 fly rod from them, but I also have a couple of 3-weight rods. I've got a 6-weight and a 5-weight. I really like their rods, and that's who I happen to get my rods from, my fly rods. They just make good gear, and they make good gear that's for people that want to go fly fishing, not people that are interested in, you know, showing off who's got the latest, greatest gear in the world. You know, I don't need to have the high dollar stuff where you're paying a premium just to buy a name. I like good, solid, functional equipment that's very well made, and so that's from TFO. And anyhow, so going to the fishing thing yesterday kind of got me involved in getting out some of my toys and playing with them here a little bit. So I got out, you know, some of my 3-weight rods. Now, my 3-weight rods use these little 3-weight reels, and these are actually G Loomis. These are not TFO. I need to buy some TFO 3-weight reels. But these are the 3-weight reels. This is the 8 and 10 weight. Now, this is a TFO. This is a TFO 375 model. Give you an idea, a little difference in size. And then what I just recently bought was a 12-weight rod, 12-weight reel rather. I don't have a 12-weight rod. I actually bought this when I was still up in Alaska. So now I need to get some money together and finish my collection and pick up a nice 12-weight rod so I can use that when I go fishing in the tropics, which I hope to be doing here pretty soon. Hello, Cheryl. How you doing? Christine here, just watching the commercial. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had the TFO thing up there for too long. So put the logo back up. I've just eaten. Okay, Austin, I hear you. Yeah. So anyhow, so, you know, listening to all this stuff and seeing the fishing gear and pulling out my fishing tackle, you know, got me back to thinking about some better places to be, you know, some nice warm, sandy beaches instead of freezing my butt up here in Ohio, because it's been cold and snowy and icy. Went for a drove yesterday and had to help a lady, or not yesterday, day before yesterday, and had to help a lady get her truck out of the ditch and wait for a sanding truck to come by because, you know, we're in Ohio and it's winter time. And anyhow, but we've got some news, and I want to get to that here in just a second. But I'm going to talk about fly fishing just a little bit further. I got a little video clip I want to show you. And then I'm going to talk about some changes to the website and changes to the channel and changes in some plans, some really good changes from my standpoint. So Austin says, all of my fly fishing gear is wooden reels and cane rods. Well, I can understand that. I can understand. Well, if you guys will bear with me, I'd like to play a little video that I put up recently on my channel.
Hey,
and
we're digging some stuff on my camera.
I can't hear myself here while this is playing, so I hope the audio from the video is playing while I'm talking here simultaneously over
and I wanted to show that to you. I was down in the BVI's, this is a couple years ago, on Anagada Island. We were fly fishing.
Will you guys hear the video okay?
Outfitter there who does a really good job. I'll have his contact information on the screen here. And anyhow, we went out bone fishing. I caught a nice bonefish. We ended up using a fly kind of like this little dude here. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. So you can see he's kind of like a little fluffy guy, and he's got some little rubber legs that sticks down, and a little bit of bright reflective stuff as shrimp would tend to have, a little bit of hair, and he's got a couple little googly eyes looking at you, little whiskers out in front. So this is a little fly that we would use for bonefish. It's a very classic sort of bonefish kind of fly. And, well, you'll see how productive
is that buffering,
it is.
or is that playing okay?
This fly fishes out.
I can't
so
tell.
Let's put it. Here I am, bone fishing out on the bow of Danny's boat. And fly fishing with a 6-foot
actually, I
rod.
said I was fishing with Danny here. I'm actually fishing with Garfield. I made a mistake. This was not Danny's bone fishing. This footage was actually me fishing with Garfield.
We edited it down so you can just
His son Kevin is now guiding in BVI now.
Not very exciting to just see me reeling in and fighting this fish on the surface, but nice
awful shaky under the water, but there's a little fishy.
Contrary to the song being played by Eric Stone, blackened fish sandwich, they're usually not a very good eating fish, so we tend to eat bonefish very often. But they're a great sport fish. They're a lot of fun to catch. It's all catch and release kind of fishing. And down there in Anagada, which just got wiped out by the hurricane this year, I thought it would be fun to put this footage up from a couple years ago. Bone fishing is one of my favorite types of fishing. Well,
it's a really nice bonefish. Not good eating, but they sure are fun to catch.
I'll walk out in the sand flats. Here's Danny unhooking the fish. We can't keep them out of the water for very long. This is actually a behind the scenes of our Travelers in Paradise television
show. Catching a wonderful bonefish in the British Virgin Islands.
see the
with
other
my
camera
TFO
person
fly rod.
filming me,
So,
and obviously that had audio, but it.
anyhow, I thought you guys might enjoy seeing that. A little bit of fishing coverage. So, yeah, actually, Austin, you touched on an interesting subject here. Austin says, hope you're feeling better, Rhonda. Rhonda is actually going under the knife pretty soon, 26th, 27th, I think. She's actually getting a device implanted to help her heart condition. So, pretty serious stuff going on. So, if everybody could keep Rhonda in their prayers, we would all greatly appreciate that. So, pretty simple surgery thing that they're doing. You know, something pretty easy that they do, very common kind of thing. But still, nonetheless, you know, having a device implanted in yourself is a scary thing. And, you know, Rhonda is keeping a stiff upper lip and doing just great with it. So, but, you know, prayers could certainly be appreciated by everybody. The 21st. Yep, she goes under the knife on the 21st. So, well, you saw the dog. See the dog? There's Lily. Hello, Lily. I don't know if I can turn this. There you go. Now you guys can see Miss Lily. So, Miss Lily's been doing fine. She's up on my bed. Well, she was up on my bed. Now she's coming over here to bother me because she wants me to pet her. So, and she wants, oh, come on, get down. I don't need you up on my lap while I'm talking. Down. Down. Okay, so I said if you bared with the video, I would bring you up to speed on some plans. You'll notice the change in the name on my channel. I've kind of decided to drop the whole farm thing altogether and focus my channel on what it's really going to be going forward. And get down. And that is that we're focusing on sailing, scuba diving, fishing, and yes, real estate. So with that said, let me give you guys an update as to what's going on. I am on the 27th, and that's why the 27th came in my mind. On the 27th, I sit for my real estate test, my broker's test again in Florida, which I will pass because I've taken it before. And so after the 27th, I will be licensed and able to go back to work down in Florida, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And so I'm going to start working in earnest, trying to get some business going down there and start getting some income coming in, which is going to be great. It's going to enable me to get all my debts and everything paid off and get back in good standing, and should be a lot of fun going forward. I plan on busting my butt between now and the end of hurricane season. So I'm thinking like now and the end of November, which is, you know, 200 and something days away, at which point I will be buying a sailboat. So I know, vacillating back and forth, one thing after another. But you know what? I've tried. I really tried. I came up here to Ohio and I really tried to wrap my head around selling real estate here in Ohio and being here, you know, with the family and selling real estate here. But there's a couple basic fundamentals that just don't play well to that scenario. The real estate market in Florida is a much higher dollar properties than it is here in Ohio. The licensing for me to get licensed in Florida is easier, cheaper, faster. One of the nuances with the kind of business that I do, having left Alaska and returning down here to Ohio, I am no longer ingrained in this community. I'm not a long time resident of this part of Ohio anymore. And so I don't have those kind of community connections that can be kind of required for a realtor. And so as a realtor, I have to rely on NROs, non-resident owners, people that own land but don't necessarily live in the area. Up in Alaska and in Montana, where I've worked the last 20 years, there was a large number of non-resident owners. And so I was able to have a fairly successful real estate practice. Here in Ohio, less than 5% of the property owners are non-resident owners. So if I were to sell real estate here, not only do I have to work as an agent, work for another broker as opposed to being a broker myself, but my potential market share is really small because I'm dealing with less than 5% of the people here. Because again, I'm not ingrained in the community. I'm not very well known here. So, whereas in Florida, nearly 60% of the properties are NROs, non-resident owners. A lot of those people that own those $1 million houses down in Florida, you see those mansions on the waterfront, all those $2, $3, $4, $5 million properties. Most of those are owned by people that live someplace else and only spend a week or two a year down in the Florida Keys. They spend the rest of the time doing something else. So that makes that a very lucrative market for me and assures me a certain level of success. And so the question comes, well, do I stay here in Ohio and be here with family and be here to, be at the ball game for the grandkids or, go over and play with the granddaughter on a regular basis? I don't know. I've been here for about 90 days. My kids come over on Sunday nights occasionally as about it for family dinner. Other than that, I really don't see them. I tend not to be too involved in anything else going on in their lives at this point. So I'm not exactly seeing them very much or the grandkids. And so then the other question that I'm wrestling with is, what's the best thing for a grandfather to do? Am I better off being down in Florida where I can make some serious money and put myself in the position to be able to help my family? Or do I stay here in Ohio and try to sell real estate under what are less than ideal conditions and, be living in a garage? So I think I'm better off going down there and working where I could really make a decent living and be able to be in a position to give my kids more support that they need right now. And, like helping out my son with a down payment on a house or helping my other son with major home repairs since he already owns a house or getting another house or what have you. Being able to contribute to kids, college funds and that kind of stuff and be able to make those kinds of serious investments. I don't think I'll be able to do that here. I would have to sell real estate and supplement my income with some sort of farm income, selling goat milk soaps or selling poultry or something, Whereas down in Florida, I can focus just on selling real estate and make enough money selling real estate that it could be quite lucrative. And then the kids could come down there and spend some time with me. So anyhow, old grandpa has been wrestling around with a lot of these problems. I really have. I've been wrestling with a lot of these problems, trying to figure out what's the best thing to do. And I've spoken to a lot of my friends. And the consensus is that it's time for grandpa to go back to Florida. Now, why am I all of a sudden able to do that? Well, the other good news is it looks like we sold the farm. Looks like. Signed the documents. Looks solid. The lady put down a large earnest money deposit. Well, not large, but good size. And if she doesn't close on the property, then she walks away from that. So I am openly optimistic that going forward, she's going to close. So they're supposed to close at the end of the month, which is about the same time I'm going to be taking my real estate test. So that'll provide me with the funds I need to get things started. Now, it's not going to give me enough money to go out and buy a sailboat right now, but it will give me enough money to get my licensing and marketing money and stuff together so I can start working down in Florida in earnest and start making some progress in that regard. So that's the plan. And in addition to that, all of the folks that signed on for Sailing with Grandpa, I've talked with a couple of them. I have to make contact with a few of the others. Some of them are going to find out right through this video. But from the sale of the farm, it's my intention. I'm just going to pay all those people back. A few of them have offered to said, no, don't pay me back. We'll go sailing sometime in the future, what have you. And that is true. But if they do that, then that's going to be on my dime, not theirs. I'm going to refund them anyway. So just to get that done, and it makes it better for me to live with myself, knowing I don't owe anybody anything. So Canary says dibs on the leftover soap. I shared with her and her daughter some of the goat milk soap we used to make, and she wants that. I don't know, Rhonda, that's the last of that soap, and I don't think there's going to be any more. So, but yeah, that's fine. Palm limit. Wow. Yep. Wow. Hey, Winging it, Tracy. How you doing? Hey, it's Carl. Buy a boat. Life is short. Yep. That's exactly right, Winging it, Tracy. Life is short. Got to do what's right for me. And in this case, what's going to be right for the family. Now, the big change is it was my original intention to buy a sailboat and sail around the world. I am not going to be doing that anytime in the near future. I am going to be buying a boat to use as a floating office, condo, YouTube channel platform while I'm down in Florida working. But I'm going to be working in the Florida Keys area, commuting back and forth between there and Ohio. I'll be spending probably more time in Ohio and some time in Florida for now. This coming winter, not now, but this coming winter, I'll probably spend more time in Florida and less in here because this cold is just killing me. I'm done with snow and ice, guys. I'm done with snow and ice. Poor Rhonda, she fell right outside the front door of her apartment the other day. And, you know, could have done some serious damage to herself. So I want, and I want, you know, I want to go fishing, guys. I want to go fishing. I want to play with my, I've been playing with tackle here all day today, you know, and this is dangerous for me because I get this stuff out and I start playing with it. And, you know, I start playing with little flies like this little guy here. See him? He's a cute little fly. Or things that mimic other little saltwater fishes, you know, things like this that are great little baits for like wahoo and barracuda and stuff. And man, you know, barracuda aren't very good eating, but you catch a barracuda on the fly, it's a lot of fun catching a barracuda on the fly. You're going to be there for a while playing them. So, and then, you know, for going up into the flats, I got all kinds of cool little things like, see if I can turn them over. Got this little crab looking guy. You can see him. Got a cool looking little crab looking guy, and got these little baits that look like shrimps. Oh, there you go. He looks like a shrimp. See that? I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but it's raining like crazy here. Got little doohickers like this guy here. It's just fun to get these things out and go fishing, you know? And I can't do that here in Ohio. Fact is, fishing here in this part of Ohio sucks. I kid you not. I had a 20-foot pontoon boat we used to keep over here on Lake Logan. And I went out with some friends of mine, Dave and Karen Nesbitt. And Dave and Karen were adamant fishermen. They were, you know, good fishermen. And I considered myself to be a good fisherman. And my wife at the time was out on the boat with us. So 4 of us were out fishing, and we were fishing in a 24-hour catfishing tournament. So we got on the pontoon boat. We were out there for 24 hours fishing for catfish. Not a one. We didn't bring home a single catfish. In a 24-hour period, we must have tried 24 locations around the lake, deep water, shallow water, up in the coves, out in the middle. Nada, nothing. Fishing here in this part of Ohio sucks. Maybe it's good down the Ohio River. Maybe it's good up on Lake Erie. But where I am, it's not very good at all. Hey, Good Game Bees and Homestead, how you doing? My advice is keep it between the palm limit, the natural limit that palms will grow. My advice is keep it between the palm limit. I think you're referring to how far north or south you can go where palm trees exist. I have to agree with you because right now I'm kind of chomping at the bit for a little bit of this kind of time, you know. I want to sit in a lounge chair. Now, this happens to be filmed on a small island in the British Virgin Islands, Joost van Dyke, Joost Island, and this was obviously before the hurricane. But this was one of the shots from one of the webcams down there. But yeah, you know, I'm looking for a little warmth and sunshine right now, so. Should have used dough balls. We tried dough balls. We actually tried, we must have had a dozen different baits with us. Catfish baits, stink baits, night crawlers, chicken livers. We tried a whole bunch of different things, Rhonda. The fishing just is not very good. It's just that simple. And for those of you wondering, no, I'm not drinking pop. I'm drinking seltzer water. Really good, healthy seltzer water. It's got a little bit of flavoring in it. It's carbonated, but it's no calories. It's got no preservatives, no sugars added. Healthy stuff. It's like drinking bubbly water with a little bit of mandarin orange juice in it. Really good. Good. So Palm Limit says, yep. Okay, that's the Palm Limit. I get it. Keep it between where the palm. Oh, okay. So that's the name. I understand. Palm Limit. Very nice. Very nice. Cool. I like that. So, wow, it's raining even more out there. So, anyhow, I want you guys to be aware of the change in the name. As you can see here now, it is changed pretty substantially. Instead of Grandpa's Farm or Grandpa's Farm Goes Sailing, I decided to just name it my name, Carl Brook. And so Carl Brook, sailor, scuba diver, fisherman, YouTuber, and kind of like who I am and what I like to do. So that's going to be the base of my live streams and my YouTube channel material from here on out. Real estate stuff and fishing, scuba diving, sailing, all that kind of fun stuff. Hey, Shell's home place. A bit early for catfish. Yeah, Shell, this was not recently. This was during the summer a couple years ago. So, Foxy's. No, that actually was not Foxy's webcam, but yes, that was very close to Foxy's there on Yoast. Foxy's live cam is back up. Very good. Nice to know that. Catfish were moving on my pond this morning. It's cold out there, but they heard me coming and came up for a snack. Yeah, well, apparently there isn't any of them there in Lake Logan, so none of them at all. So anyhow, that's kind of the extent of what I wanted to touch base with everybody about. I want to talk a little bit about fishing, a little bit about the change of direction in the channel, the news that looks like the farm is going to sell. So that means those people that signed up for the Sailing with Grandpa are going to be able to get refunded if they choose to. There's a couple of them that don't want to be, actually. There's a couple of them just said, no, just leave it and we'll go fishing someday or we'll go sailing someday. And so, that's their prerogative and certainly will do. Yes, John Williams, you are correct. That's the Soggy Dollar Bar. I was trying to think of the name of it off the top of my head and I couldn't remember. You are right. That's the Soggy Dollar Bar's webcam. Pre-hurricanes of last year. So, good place and good times. Good times. Spent a lot of good times down there at Foxy's and Soggy Dollar and some of the other bars there on Yoast. Fond memories of that. In fact, the last time I was there was a really big school of bait fish. It looked like a black cloud in the water. I mean, literally, it was the size of maybe a quarter of an acre of ground that was just black in the water. And then every so often, you would see the black part and then close back up and part and close back up. And what that was, it was a barracuda or in this case, it was a tarpon. It was a tarpon shooting through the school of fish and trying to eat them. So I had gotten in the water with a video camera and had filmed some of that. But unfortunately, in my divorce, the ex-wife got that footage, and so I cannot share that with you. But I will refilm that again someday soon and recreate that. So we'll have some of that footage. But it was like watching fireworks when you're standing up on the boat looking down on it. It's like fireworks. You see this big black mass, and all of a sudden, boosh, they would all go flying out and then come back. And boosh, they'd all go flying out and then come back as the tarpon was shooting through the school of bait fish. It was pretty awesome to watch, actually. It was pretty cool. So I'll have to replay to catch the news. Got late here. No problem, Shell. No problem. Palm trees grow on the side of Arran, Scotland at 55 North. Palm trees grow on the Isle of Arran, Scotland. Huh. She got the videos. Yeah, Alexander, she got all of the hard drives, which had all the video content on it, is what it amounted to. So that's why I've really been limited as to how much of the old Travelers in Paradise stuff I can show. I can download the stuff that we put up on YouTube, and because that I have access to, but all the rest of the footage she has, and so I'll never see that ever again. Hopefully, because I don't really want to see her ever again. That's a whole nother story. Oh man. Yeah, she got the video. So that's news. Anyhow, Shell, just to bring you up to speed, It looks like my farm up in Alaska has sold, which is going to give me the funds that I need to really get going with my real estate licensing. And I've decided that I'm going to get licensed in Florida instead of here in Ohio, just because it's a much more lucrative, much better market. And so that will that'll change things around a little bit. You know, I'm going to be there instead of being here. I'm playing with a fishing reel, if you're wondering what I'm doing here off camera. Guess I could sit back. Maybe you could see what I'm doing, but just sitting here playing with a fishing reel. This is frustrated fishermen in the wintertime. This is what we do in the wintertime when we're frustrated. We get out our toys and imagine that we're fishing. So, in fact, I've been wondering, I've not even mounted that that reel on a rod yet. So I'm going to stick it on this one. This is, where's the thing? This is actually a 10 weight rod, not a 12 weight, although this is a 12 weight reel. So better videos to come. Yeah, Alexander, I think so. When I'm down in Florida, actually almost immediately, I'm going to start boat shopping. I'm not in a position, I don't have the, well, I say that. I say I don't have the money to afford to buy a boat right now, but you know, I was watching eBay this week and on, oh, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet? Nope, I got it on backwards. Fun. Too much fun. Anyhow, let me put that down. I was on YouTube, and while on YouTube, not on YouTube, on eBay, and while on eBay, I saw a Pearson 30-foot Pearson sailboat. So a nice sailboat. And from the pictures that I could see, it looked like it was in really nice shape. So a 30-foot Pearson sold on eBay for $1,325. So that's the kind of deal old Grandpa is going to be looking for. Because what ideally I need a boat for initially is to have a condo or something to live on while I'm down in Florida working, because rents down there are very expensive. And if I can find something, you know, like an inexpensive boat to live on, then that's the cheapest way to live down there. So, because then I could just put it on anchor and anchor off and have my little dinghy to get back and forth between the boat and the shore, and not have to pay property taxes, not have to pay rent. Good situation. So, and I can focus on working. So that's kind of what I'm planning on doing. So yeah, Shell, I guess the idea is that I'm going to be heading to Florida. I'm not heading anytime in the near future, however. I am going to be here in Ohio the majority of the time between now and the end of hurricane season. And we're just now getting to the beginning of, you know, another couple months will be the beginning of hurricane season. So I don't think I'm really going to look at buying a boat until November, unless some kind of screaming deal comes through. I don't plan on buying a boat until November, but I will be doing a lot of boat shopping. We'll look at a lot of boats. We'll talk about a lot of different boats, the nuances, the pluses and minuses, and that kind of stuff. And, you know, what I like and don't like about particular boats, and we'll see how all that fares out. You know, that 30-foot Pearson, you know, that'd be a great documinium for me. I guess it would be a great little place for me to store a boat and live on while working down there. It is not the kind of boat that I would want. Oh, dog. You had to jump up there and knock the fishing rod over. There we go. Scared herself, too. Sorry about that. It's not the kind of boat that I would want to use for scuba diving. I could use it for sailing and fishing, but it's not going to be a boat that's easy to get it on and off of. But for the time being, it would be fine for me as a temporary quarters. I do anticipate that by November, I'm going to be looking for something in around that $80,000 mark. So probably a 40 to 43, 44 foot, 1995 or newer, sugar scoop, sterned, you know, a Beneteau or something along those, you know, something along that line for now. And then, you know, a year or so after that, maybe step up to a catamaran, but that's where I'm going to be going from now. So and you need all new scuba gear. It's all about the money. That's right, Winging It Tracy. It's all about the money, honey. And yes, I will be acquiring all new scuba gear, and I'll make great content in regards to that. I'll be making lots of good content in regards to that. I've actually been online shopping and looking at some stuff. There are some companies that make the BCD, you know, the inflatable backpack thing that you wear, all the way up now into 3 and 4XL. So they actually make them up in my size now. So I'll actually be able to buy a much more comfortable BCD that'll fit me better. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I will be acquiring all new scuba gear this summer. Absolutely. Oh, come on, hurricanes make it interesting. Yeah, hurricane. Yeah, no. Oh, hell no. No, no, no. No, definitely don't want to do that. No, I definitely do not want a flying boat. Definitely do not want a flying boat. I like to keep the sailboat right side up and, you know, the wet side down and the sunny side up, ideally. So, but anyhow, guys, I think that's all I wanted to touch base with here today. Didn't really have a whole lot on the agenda. Just wanted to get a quick update and see what was going on. Let you know that some more videos will be coming here soon. I've not put a video out in a long time. So I thought I would jump on and do one today and kind of get things going again, you know, try to get things motivated. Now that I know that the farm is selling and we're going to have some funds coming our way, we can start getting some stuff done. So that's kind of what we're on about right now. Hey, Trav Spence, how you doing? How's Trav today? So anyhow, guys, unless you got a question or something for me, I'd be happy to answer any questions. If not, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug because, frankly, I don't know what else to talk about right now. I've been having fun playing with my fly fishing gear, but we have stuff, I guess, to get to. So, Orphan Lady likes to know, hey, are you coming to Deep South Homestead Spring Gathering? No, I don't think I will, Orphan Lady. I don't think I will. I kind of thought about going to Patera's homesteading convention, but now I don't know. So I think I'm going to focus, I think, more on the, you know, I need to focus right now on work. I just need to focus on making some money. That's what I need to focus on. So that means I need to get to Florida and get to work. And so that's going to be the critical thing for me. So there's some land on auction in Florida. Yeah, I'm sure there is. There's lots of land on auction in Florida. Not in the place of Florida where I am going to be working and living. That's going to be down in the Florida Keys. Ideally, I'd like to be somewhere around Marathon Key or somewhere in that area. And oh, sir, you are FOS. Well, thanks, Pete. Wow. Goodbye, Pete. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's just great. Yep. Huh. Oh, well. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and opinions are like, you know what, so everyone's got one. Storm, place to park. Storm. Not bad digging out of the snow. Oh, I see, snowstorm. Yeah. I'm done digging out of snowstorms, Trav. I've been there, done that. I've seen it. I'm done with it. So moving on. So I've had my share living up in Alaska for the many years that I did, and the decade I lived in Montana before that. Seen all the snow I care to see and deal with. So it's time to get warm. I just can't take the cold much anymore. So Alexander Rose says Sombrero Beach is awesome. Yes, Sombrero Beach is awesome. The only, yes, it's a beautiful beach, Alexander, but my problem with Sombrero Beach is the visibility sucks. I snorkel and scuba dive, and you can't see anything in the water at Sombrero Beach because of the current coming out of the anchorage there through the cut, there's a lot of water flow, tidal flow through there, and it stirs up a lot of the water right in there. The tidal action, the waves, the boats coming and going, and so visibility is really bad. And I have a real aversion to swimming in water that has that bad of visibility, because that's where sharks and stuff like to hang out. That way they can tag a fish very quickly without it even knowing it was there. So I tend to stay out of such places as best I can. So don't let that ass bring you down. He's just a loser troll. Yeah, I know. There's a bunch of them. Trav. A bunch of naysayers and, probably some guy living in his mother's basement. As I say that, living in my ex-wife's garage, right? Like I've got a basis to make a statement, right? Oh, well, temporary. Rent goes down in summer in Florida. Rent does go down, but I have no intention of renting property. The area that I want to be in the Florida Keys, in 2015, I rented an apartment down there, and it was $1,000 a month for a real crap hole. I mean, a real crap hole. It was not nice at all. And I just can't see doing that when so why spend $12,000 for a really crap hole place to stay when for $12,000 I can buy myself a nice little sailboat to keep down there and live on? I'd much rather be on a nice little sailboat than spend $1,000 a month. And you know what? At the end of the year, that rent money is out the window. I have nothing to show for it. At the end of the year, if I buy a little sailboat, at the end of the year, I still have a nice little sailboat. So probably a much nicer sailboat, because I'll spend a lot of time fixing it, cleaning it up, and making it better. So I was catching sharks on a murky day. Oh, yeah. Sharks like murky water. They like dark water. So Trav Spence, to each his own. We were watching Sharknado 2 when the live stream came on. Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah, Sharknado 2, huh? Flying sharks. It had my heart pounding in that. No idea what was on the other side. Oh, you didn't know you had hooked a shark. Yeah. When I grew up as a kid, I grew up in Long Island in New York, and we would go shark fishing all the time off Long Island. So I got, kind of accustomed to shark fishing. But yeah, it's kind of exciting. Of course, back then, we were really bad people back then. We didn't know any better. We would catch sharks, bring them up alongside the boat, take a shotgun, blow their heads off, and let them go, or not let them go. I mean, they were dead at that point. But it's just what we did back then, because that's what you did with sharks. If you cooked a shark, you killed it, you tossed it back in. So nowadays, of course, that's verboten. You don't do that kind of stuff. You got to pet the shark and talk nice to it and take it out for cocktails afterwards. And yeah, it's a whole different politically correct environment today than when I was a kid. But sharks are still fun to catch. They really are. Let's see. Susie Q. Hey, Susie Q. Checking in from warm 74 degrees in North Carolina. Oh, man. It is not 74. It is like 38 here in Ohio and raining at the moment, Susie Q. And I'm tired of it. I took day before yesterday, I went for a drive. I drove down to where my property used to be, our acreage that we had here in Ohio, the old family farm. And I stopped by the cemetery and visited Mom and Dad. They're buried there at the cemetery down the road from the old property. And I noticed their headstone has mold and fungus growing on it, algae and whatever stuff that grows on stuff. Anyhow. And then as I drove up past the riding stable that I built, and, the guided cave tours and the vacation cabins that I built, and the resort that I built there, and looking at the house that we had completely remodeled and gutted, and I was just really saddened to see what poor condition everything was in. Well, somebody from Sandpoint, Idaho is trying to call me. I'll talk to him later. Have both phones ringing. I now have a new phone number, but I still have my old phone number, and the old phone number is on call forwarding to my new phone number. So I only have to carry one phone with me, but not during the live stream. Suzy Q says it's been raining down in the last couple of days. Lawyers, sharks, same attitude. Oh, man, isn't that right? Isn't that right? So, anyhow, I digress. I was down there driving by the old farm, and it was all kind of wet. And, this is Ohio. It rains here. Everything here seems like it's moldy and green and I don't know, algae growing all over everything. It's just, I need some warm, tropical, clean water. I was watching a video this morning, a YouTube video, and it was from one of the sailing channels that I subscribe to. Oh gosh, what's their names? I don't remember, but it's a fairly new channel. Started back 4 or 5 months ago. It's a couple, I think they're in Vancouver. And they were complaining on their video about all of the mold on all of their stuff on their boat. And it's the same stuff that we ran into up in Alaska, because you would get, or even in Seattle, when I was in Seattle, you would get mold on the boat really super quickly because it's a very humid, damp, rainy environment, just like here in Ohio. Ohio is a very damp, rainy environment. And so I'm getting moldy. So I need to get down to the Florida Keys where I can dry out and warm up and get some hot salt water. Get in some hot salt water. So, what's the name of the cave tour? Palm Limit. It used to be called Saltpeter Caves. It's actually still called Saltpeter Caves, but we've sold it to the state of Ohio. They've turned it into a state nature preserve now. So, whereas we used to take school groups and scout groups and stuff up there and tourists on as a guided cave tour of the property, they've now turned it into a state nature preserve. And typical here in the state of Ohio, that means no one's allowed to go look at it now. You're not even allowed to go up there unless you apply to them for a special permit, and then you have to have a reason for going. I mean, they're just stupid about it. So they're not fun. They're just not fun. But I did have it in the deed that when I sold it to the state of Ohio, that me and my family during our lifetimes can go visit the caves anytime we want to, regardless of whatever their rules are. And of course, I've not tested that yet. I haven't been motivated to go up there and look, but it is what it is. So I hear you can't wait for spring. Get the chickens out in the chicken tractors. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that, Trav. Where I'm staying here, I don't think I'm going to be buying a property here in Ohio, at least ways not for a long time. I've got other priorities. And where the property that I'm staying on now, I can't have chickens here. I have to have chicken pen has to be more than 50 feet away from the neighbor's house, and the property is only 50 feet wide. So that's not going to happen. Good thing about Florida, if the hurricane is going up the east side, drive to the west side, shortest drive. There you go. Or better yet, just drive up here and visit the grandkids in Ohio for a while and let the hurricanes pass. But I will say this, if I have a boat down in Florida during hurricane season, I will do what I have to do to move that boat out of the area. Either run it south or run it north someplace to get it up out of the area, or maybe just put it up on the hard if I can find a good, safe place to put it up to get it high and dry. So, hey, Don B., how you doing, buddy? Glad to see you in here. Shell says, yeah, I always wondered why they held the golf tournaments in May and Columbus always rains like a mother. Yeah, it's just always raining here. So, and it's not just May. If you look at the Weather Channel and look at the precipitation, it rains here all the time. It's just very damp. It's a very damp place. So, oh well, it is what it is. Anyhow, guys, unless there's something else new and exciting, I don't know what else I need to talk about. I've covered all the things I wanted to on my agenda and got that out there. I hope to be making some other videos here pretty soon. That is if I can ever quit playing with my fly fishing equipment. I really want to go out fly fishing. Too cold and too wet here to fly fish. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll go fly fishing. But being at the fly fishing show yesterday, not the fly fishing show, but the fishing show yesterday, kind of got my mind thinking about that stuff all over again. Got to do something constructive. So, Anyhow, guys, look, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug and end this here. If you got anything interesting you want to talk about, mention it in the comments. I'll try to address it if you have any questions or what have you. But we'll just go from there. You guys take care and be good to one another. And we will see you next time. Take care, y'all. Bye.